Well, there's an increasing number of married men coming out boldly to report their abusive wives. That's according to outgoing Gender Minister Otiko Afisa-Jaba, who says some men have been secretly writing to her to complain about assault on them by their wives. We will get the latest statistics and prevalence on this interesting but worrying trend from the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, DOVSU. But what do you make of this? Have you suffered any form of abuse from your spouse? What happened in your case, and how do we address this? Share your story with us on the number again is 0050. Did I just lose the number? I didn't. The number is 050 564330. 050506430. So that's the number on your screen there. Send us your thoughts, your experiences. Is your wife beating you? Has your wife beaten you before? What really happened? And we have a counselor in the studio. We'll be talking about this. So first of all, listen to the outgoing minister, Otiko Afisa-Jaba, who has described the trend as worrying.
This is a public interest question. Now, we keep hearing the unfortunate incidences of abuse, spousal abuses. And I know you've been doing quite a lot of work in mitigating it and supporting victims. Has your department been receiving cases of men beaten by their wives? And if you have, how are you handling such cases? Because more often, it is the women we hear about, husbands beating the wives and not wives beating husbands.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Order.
Most of the time, the cases being reported are women beating men. But in recent times, we received about 6 calls. There was an incident of a man who talked about his wife using a stool to hit his head. And so, in our culture, it is not manly to say that your wife has beaten you up. So what I know is that it is happening, but they don't complain because they don't want to be seen as weak. And so we intend to do an assessment and a survey, because I get personal letters from these men. They don't go to report to DOVSU. They write to me personally that these are their problems. Indeed, a few weeks ago, I received a phone call at 1:49 a.m. from a man who said he couldn't sleep and that the wife was terrorizing him. This is personal. So I asked the social welfare officer to go and find out what the issues were. And so they are now separated. And the social welfare officer is talking to both sides to find the solution. It is not easy, but we have also established a call center, helpline of hope, for people to be able to call in anytime they have any form of social issues. So there as well, there is an increase in the reporting. But these things will take a lot of sensitization that nobody should beat anybody. The men should not beat the women should not beat the men, and nobody should even beat the children.
Of course, you'll expect an uproar even in parliaments. When you say, especially when you say men shouldn't beat women, it sounds okay. But when you say women shouldn't beat men, then it sounds funny. I have 2 people in the studio. Honorable Gifty Chum Ampofo, she's a Deputy Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. I'll introduce them to you quickly. Ma'am, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, dear.
And thank you very much for coming. Also here in the studio with me is our usual Councillor, Daniel Annan. Councillor, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so before I engage my distinguished guest today, we've been speaking to some of you on the street to find out what your thoughts are on this matter.
My I think it's very disrespectful. There should be communication in their marriages. There should be respect in their marriages. So if you're a woman and you're beating your husband, where's the respect? I think the men also should, when they are getting into marriages, they should check the background. They should know the woman they are getting married to. Women can hide a lot of things for even 10 years and you don't know them very well.
It is not good for ladies to beat their husbands in the house, since the husband is the head of the family, and for that matter, he has to control everything. So it is better the ladies, they submit themselves to their husbands. You see, the ladies, they join some kind of Christian fellowship in their churches, so they can go to their churches, and then the leader of the church can coach them how to, they will go by their husband and the way they will stay with them.
There is a saying that goes like this, there is no smoke without fire. So obviously, if there is a rumor out there, there should be a little truth in everything they say. So I think it could be true. One reason boils down to the fact that some men who are married like to have side chicks aside their wives, because there's a saying that you can't always take, how do you call it, palm note soup, so you have to change it.
When some women feel that they have got, let's say, about 75% of what? Autonomy or power over, how do you call it, the strength or the power that is entrusted into the man, then and then they try to dwell on that and then take advantage of that situation and then beat, their husbands. There should be, a kind of caution, or the kind of power or the knowledge that is being imparted to the woman for them to feel that high, or, to feel that, they can, hide behind the law and then, intimidate their husband.
I feel it's the men who provoke the women. Women are tend to be, we have to respect our husbands and everything. So sometimes we kind of suppress our feelings. So it gets to a point the a woman cannot hold this again. Then she will vent her anger on the husband. It all boils down to communication. The man should respect the woman. Then the woman will give the man. If you love your woman, I don't think she will disrespect you.
That's actually what the Bible says, to love your wives, and wives submit to your husbands. But that's not my area. Let me give it to those whose area it is. Thank you very much once again. And because we are there's a little bit of gender imbalance here, I'm going to allow the man to speak. Otherwise, they'll say we're beating the man in the studio. So, so Councillor, let me start with you. Very interesting thoughts from the people who spoke there. I'd like to find out your thoughts. What is happening? I mean, and how worrying would you say this trend is?
Anyway, good evening to your viewers, and I think you have already started beating me already. Oh no! Because I feel a little bit intimidated by this strong woman. Are you sure? I've been sandwiched. No, and a serious note, it's something that is going on. It's seriously going on.
How often do you get such reports as a councillor in your church?
You don't quite often get them because they hide.
Okay.
They hide, but if you try and do the post-marital counseling, you begin to see that these things are going on. And you begin to ask yourself, why is it going on? We have about 10 reasons why these things happen. And we are not taking care about it. When you look at the society, when you listen to the conversation, it means people are naive about what is happening.
Why? Why are they naive?
One, who is that woman? And why should that woman beat the man? The woman is having a problem. It could be an antisocial disorder problem. It could be a borderline disorder syndrome. You know that people who have had problems with relationships, somebody was used to that abuse. So he decided that now I have to be very strong
to be able to
retaliate. And in so doing, such people become very violent. And when you have women who have the situation of that being brought up in a family setting where there are only boys and the only girl, you see, when you look at that woman, those girls, when they are growing up, they become very so hard and violent. And when they get into the relation, they think that they have to defend themselves.
Okay. We
have people who also are engaged in these abuses, drug abuse. When you have such a person, it's certain that such a person will be very violent.
But you see, the question again was, why is this worrying? Because, I mean, women, and I'm going to say something that, don't get angry, but women are usually not strong, you know. That men are usually
strong.
True. Okay, hold on. So men are usually stronger than women. Men have, you know, heavier muscles or whatever.
I've seen women beating men before.
But when a woman beats a man, I mean, it should be okay.
It's not okay.
Is it? I mean, how much will she beat you?
My mother, she'll kick you or do fall down.
So why is this worrying?
The reason why it's worrying is that statistics. I did a statistics from the UK, from the US, and Canada. Initially, when you look at the statistics of US, when you do the home families survey, from 1977 it was 18.6 and 17.4. From 1990 to 1992, it changed from 18. It reversed against men. Now, when you come to UK, it's at par, 4%, 4%. When you come to Canada, it's the same, 4%, 4%. But the unfortunate thing is that men, when you report that you have been abused, physically abused by a woman, because of the stigmatization, yes. So people don't report. So even in the advanced countries, when you have people reporting, when you have these challenges, in spite of it, they're reporting, and you have these statistics, it gives you an indication that it's a silent thing that is going on. If we are not checking it, it will get to a state that when it escalates, it will affect marriage settings, it will affect the home settings, and it will affect our societal settings. Okay. What is worrying is that our society tend to frown on such issues.
So it's difficult for men to
talk about it.
And it's breaking marriages.
Seriously.
Okay. Let me bring the gender minister, deputy gender minister in. Your minister is reporting this, that people are actually doing so secretly. Like he's saying, there's stigmatization. You are shy to say your wife is beating you, because naturally it is men, it's the other way around. How bad is the situation?
Thank you very much. My regards to all our viewers. I'm surprised we zeroing it down to women beating men. It's spousal abuse. And when you're talking of abuse, the physical abuse is not even very serious as compared to emotional and physiological abuse.
Okay.
When you talk about the emotional and physiological abuse, that one, a lot of women do that. There are some women that when they start hailing insult at you, you refuse to realize that you are even a man. For that one, a lot of women are guilty.
And that's very bad for men who tend to be quite egoistic.
Yes. You see, it is what you tell a person that will make him realize or her realize that, yes, I'm a human being. Yes, I could. Yes, I'm capable. But when you have a woman that any little thing she hails insult at you, it demeans you to a point that even the basic things that you're supposed to do in the house as a man, you don't even feel like doing them. And when you don't do them, more
chaos. So the bottom line is that this is bad, it is dangerous because it is breaking homes, it is breaking families.
Yes, it is.
Are there any actions or interventions that the ministry is putting together on this?
The ministry have domestic violence units, which is working very close with DOFSU. But as Councillor said, the issue is, why are the men not reported? I think we've gotten to the point of our development that we should realize that we are equal human beings. So what is not good for the woman is definitely not good for the man. So the men should come out to report. From your video or the interviews, somebody said that before a woman will beat a man, that it means the man had done something serious. Even if your child does something serious, do you need to beat him or her up? No, you don't need to. Because we are human beings. The difference between human beings and all the other creatures is the sense of speech. All other creatures, God did not give them the sense of speech except human beings. So for human beings, whatever the issue is, we need to sit down, reason, and talk it over.
Don't you think that people are not reporting to the ministry and your agencies because of how these matters have been handled in the past?
Not really so. Even if you talk about women that have been beaten by their husbands, it will interest you to know that sometimes, yesterday, one noble woman shared an experience with us. She said that a woman was beaten early in the morning with her clothing torn. And when she got to the reporting officers, unfortunately, the policeman said that, oh, if early morning they've given you small beatings to you, what is that?
At the place that the person is reporting the matter.
We seem to accept certain norms which is not helping any of us.
Yeah, but that's for your ministry to fix, isn't it?
That is why you've given me the medium for all of us to recycle ourselves with that.
Okay.
We are all human beings. We need to be treated as human beings. And as the golden rule said, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. And for that woman who said that the man should love the woman, so the woman
will submit.
She's misquoting scripture.
Oh, is that not what the Bible says?
The Bible says so, but the Bible didn't say that, man, love your wife so that your wife respects you.
Okay.
We have individual responsibilities. It's incumbent upon the man for him to receive his blessings, to love the wife. And in the same way, the same upon the woman to respect the husband. So, respect your husband to have your blessings. Man, love your wife to have your blessings. It is not conditional. That is what we do that have a lot of problems at home. We pick the Bible and then we handle it anyhow to suit our situation.
I see.
The issue here is, be it physical abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, whatever form of abuse, physiological abuse, we should put an end to that. And for the others, apart from physical abuse, most women are guilty. And I want to seek your medium to let them know that whatever you don't want any other person to do unto you, just don't do it.
Well, I hope it's that simple for people to take such advice. Counselor, I want you to advise men who may be in relationships that are abusive, emotionally, like Auntie Kitty says, emotionally, physically. I've got a message here. This gentleman doesn't add his name. He says, if your wife deprives you of sex, is it also abuse of her husband? Because 90% of women abuse men seriously during sex. I mean, you meant to me about sex. With the mind that they're tired from, well. So he's basically saying that it's deprivation of sexual, sex, also a sort of abuse. And whilst you're at it, I want you to speak to people. If they're being abused, what should they do?
I think deprivation is not necessarily abuse.
It's not?
It's not necessarily.
Would it be a part of the emotional abuse?
It's a denial. It's not so much of an abuse. It's when you want to get into why sex is not, we need to look at why these things happen. But I think there is something very sensitive we need to look at. The way we are addressing abuse, to my knowledge, is not the best. We are not speaking to the demands of the community. You see, when you place abuse, more especially physical abuse, emotional abuse, under a certain setting, who will go to the social welfare?
Yes, but then who else?
Right.
Where else do you go?
Thank you very much.
Or what one of the gentlemen actually in the Vox Pop says to engage the fellowships in church.
Well, there are 4 settings that you can easily do if the gender ministry is prepared to do that. 1, engage in the churches. Why? Everybody goes to church, whether mosque or the lecture hours we spend in church is more than any university. Yes, you checked.
So you're advising the gender ministry to
engage.
Target
exactly, so that they will give you
church.
Space.
Okay.
Space, because you get them every Sunday. Number 2, your town hall meetings should not only be on political, because anytime you have a town hall meeting, it's about politics, about something. Let's speak to the social needs of the people. They are silent because if you expect a man to come and tell you that my wife has beaten me, he will not do it. But when you bring an issue, like a story, and you bring the issue out, and it's an open discussion, people will bring their sentiments.
Okay.
You'll be wise enough to get it. The third thing is that we are from families. The family setting is the pivotal of where our life were brought up. So why don't we target the family also? When we begin to get into these 3 areas, we'll be addressing the needs, because no matter what, you meet the people in this, and the 4th one will be the schools.
Okay.
In educational curriculum, who is guiding us that men and women should behave in this way? When we are able to target these areas and approach it, by all means, we'll be reaching certain goals.
Okay.
And if we do it, let us also assess how far we have gone. Now, if somebody is being abused, these are the things, these are the ways to go about it. First of all, forgiveness. It's tough. You see, when I talk about forgiveness, we have 3 angles of forgiveness.
Okay.
You who have been offended, forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself means you tend to condemn yourself. You tend to tell that I did this. This is the reason why this person did that to me. And when you are not able to forgive yourself, you can't forgive somebody.
Okay, so people should forgive
themselves,
the women,
because you cannot.
Husbands should forgive the wives who beat them.
No, first you, the victim.
Forgive yourself.
Forgive yourself, because always what the devil does is that he tends to tell you that you are guilty. You committed an error. There's something you did wrong. That's why you were beaten or something. You, the man who had been beaten, if you are not careful, you always want him to blame yourself.
To what extent does it affect a man's self-esteem and his ego to have first of all, to have the wife or the spouse beat him?
We have the men who are beaten. There are categories of men who are usually beaten. Men who are that mediocre people. That's 1. 2, people who are not physically strong. 3, people who do not understand the tenets of marriage, so they entered into a marriage by a certain reason, but not love.
Okay.
You understand me? So they entered into the marriage, not necessarily because now we have economics marriage. You know that people are married because there is something in the family. There's money there.
Okay.
And somebody, maybe he committed an error, he impregnated a woman, and that they contracted the marriage.
Let's just go ahead and marry.
When you have people who are usually abused, there's something that is very common with all of them: mediocrity, low self-esteem. So when you have such people, that's the reason why the education should allow us to identify such people very early enough, and begin to build their confidence. Let us tell them what best they can do, and let us teach them what can make them strong.
Okay, so finish up with the point about what you should do. Like, tell people what you, from your perspective as a counselor, what can they do if they are in an abusive relationship?
The first thing is, when you are forgiving yourself, what is important, if you are not able to heal the wounds, you will send that wound, you will transport that wound to another relationship. So let's forgive ourselves, let's forgive that spouse. The second thing is, let's talk about it. First, let's communicate. Communication is very, very effective in such manner, because maybe the person is doing that out of naivety or ignorance. So let's talk about it. When it's still going on, then let's allow a third person to come in. Let a counselor come in. When the counselor comes in, then it's still going on. You cannot stay in a marriage to die. So what the next thing is that let us separate ourselves, give ourselves time to reflect, to think through, because life is very precious. Because some of the abuses, somebody takes a metal, just hits you. By the time you are aware, you will not have the second chance to say, I'm sorry.
Okay, so forgive, talk about it, bring in a third person, consider separation. Yes. And if separation doesn't work, it's still going on.
The choice is yours. The choice is yours. But the bottom line, the underlying principle, the choice. One thing about counseling that you need to be very careful. Don't take decisions for people. Let them exercise their will and their choices. But the bottom line is what? Love your neighbor as yourself.
Okay. Let me bring Auntie Gifty in on this matter. Very interesting. What do you reckon someone going through an abusive relationship should do?
Interestingly, people who get into abusive relationship, before they contracted the marriage, they were abused, but then they overlooked it.
But does it apply to all cases?
Most cases.
They saw the signs and they still went in.
They saw the signs. For instance, if you caught in with a lady who wouldn't care who is there, when she's angry, she tells you whatever she wants. Watch out, back out. Whether it's back out. You see, when you caught in and certain things get in there, you make sure you back out. But most often than not, our emotions deceive us, and maybe, as counselor said, some material needs that we get, we think that because of that, can't let it go.
So let me marry
let me marry him or let me marry her. If you not yet contracted the marriage and there is abuse, back out. Again, I want to say that it even took a lot of effort before women started reporting
the abuse,
from their the abuse that they receive from husbands.
Okay.
It took a long time.
Okay.
Even as of now, many of them do not report. So in the same way, it's the time of the men. So you appeal to them that they should report. And as Councillor said, bring other people in. The only point I don't agree with Councillor is he's saying that the ministry should go to the churches. It's unfortunate because it's the churches who contract the marriages for us.
Yes, but they're saying that reach them with the message.
See,
because the people are in the church. The human beings that you are there for are in the church.
You see, previously, it was families who were making sure we get to the right homes and we do marry. And when you marry, the traditional marriage, they'll give you someone in tree. They say that Nojina Warichiri, who is behind you in the marriage. That is someone from the man's family and someone from the woman's family. And usually when there's something wrong, the woman reports to the man's relation and the man reports to the woman's relation. All these things, most of the churches have not made sure that we have them. So
you're blaming the church for some of the problems in marriage?
Families have now been taken over by churches because actually family systems have broken down. Because we all moving from where our family members are, that is one. And then two, all of us become cosmopolitan. Which of the customs should we work with? Is it the Ghana because we live in Accra? Or it's Achim because I come from Achim area?
Yes, where you come from.
But then, I live in Accra without parents. I've seen a young man want to marry him. Who is here? My mother is not here. My uncle is not here. But
that's why the church is there. But that's why he's also saying that it is your responsibility as a ministry to bring the message to the church because you have the people there.
I agree. But in churches, where we've gone wrong is we have what do you call that?
Pre-marriage counseling. Good. Yes.
Do you have post-marriage counseling?
Some of them do.
Most churches do not have. And you know, men per their nature are egoistic. So how do I go and tell Suffer, every night I'm
Gifty is beating me.
Every night I'm
and this Gifty is you. Gifty is beating me.
So then what do we need to do? The fundamental issue here is we should raise our children well. Let's say that we losing hold on the adult. We should raise our children well. I remember one of my brothers married a woman who was always very abusive. Not to him.
Beating him.
Not to him, but to his children that had lost their mother. And when he tries to defend the children, the form of abusive language this woman will use. And my brother said that, he called me and said that, there was a day I nearly beat this woman, but I remember that my father, who didn't have first degree, never hit my mother.
Okay.
So I didn't see the need to stoop so low to hit my wife.
So we should focus on the upcoming generation. Inculcating to them this behavior.
We should raise our children well. And the woman beating your husband, I tell you, your daughters will be their husband. So if anybody who checks background wouldn't ask her son to marry your daughter because she said, hey, those woman, the way she was beating the husband, no, because you can't marry her. We need to make sure that everything we're doing is not for ourselves, but for generations to come.
Okay.
Society has become such that if I think I'm furious, I should hit somebody. All because of the way we become so covetous. I want this, I don't have, so emotionally I'm disturbed. So whoever comes my way, and we need to put an end to that. And men, when you abuse, please get a confidant and talk about that. When you talk about that, the pain is about, as the older days said, an issue or problem spoken about is about 50% solved. Talk about them. And when you're talking about, get the right people.
The right people, that's where the problem is.
In the Christian sector, they will tell you that when you marry, your husband is your only friend. It's a lie. Your husband or your wife should be your friend, but you should get a confidant.
Okay.
So that when things are not moving on well, you have somebody to say that,
To
hey,
talk
Jack,
to.
come to my ear. I think this is bad.
Okay.
Then we solving the problems.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we get
So we're
society
wrapping up this
to
conversation. It's basically about spousal abuse. Now, if you are in an abusive relationship, what do you do? And we're doing this on the back of reports that we were getting from the gender ministry that indeed, a lot of women seem to be beating their husbands now. I don't know your story, but of course, we've learned a lot of things here. I'll have my guests give us their very final words. But what you should not forget is that from counselor's perspective, if you're going through an abusive relationship, he says to forgive. Forgive the other party who is hurting you. That, of course, is up for conversation. Talk about it, communicate about it, find a third person. This is they actually progress. So if you forgive and it's not working, you talk about it, it's not working, you bring in a third person, it's not working, he says to try separation. You try separation, it's not working, he says the choice is yours. And I don't know what that choice will be. But I guess from the ministry, the gender ministry here says that she actually doesn't agree that going to the church is a way for the ministry to target the message.
No, I have not said that.
Okay, you agree?
No, I agree, but I'm saying that because the church had also lose their control because they contract the marriages for us.
So the church should also
after the weddings, they should have interest in the couple. They should.
Okay, but she's
I'm
also saying
a typical church person.
Okay, but she's also saying that you should report. So that's one other point that you can put in the list that the counselor gave us. Report it, because abusing anybody is wrong and it's against the law. I'll give you the very final word. I think I'll give you the final word since you're coming from a ministry that's supposed to help us deal with this problem as a country. But Councillor, what will be your very final word on this discussion?
Life is precious and we don't have second chance to life. So what we need to do is to make sure that we live our life to the fullest. How do you do it? We do it by loving ourselves and loving our neighbor as ourselves. I said the gender ministry because I think engagement is very good. I live in Tama West. My MP has almost every person's number, visiting our church, interacting with us, listening to us, knowing what is going in the community. We engage in and giving our input. Government always have to partner with the churches because the church controls the largest numbers. So when you lead the numbers, you go to the church. You go to the church.
She actually says she agrees,
yes, so,
except that she thinks that you guys are taking over from the family.
Whatever, you cannot make a general thing. Let us start engage. For instance, if you bring a curriculum, that this is the way we have to go about it. These are the guidelines. Oh, church, can you add this to what you already have? Then you see the engagement will be getting better. Then the follow-up and assessment will help them to assess that, oh, we are getting better as a society. The interrelation is getting better, or what?
So more collaboration between the gender ministry
very
and the church. That will be your final word. Thank you very much. Askifty, what's your final word on this?
Don't abuse anyone. And men, because of you that the name of the ministry had changed. It's no more Ministry of Women and Children. It's Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. And gender is men and women, or males and females. It's again because of men that you changed the name from Dopsu, from initially you had the name Waju. Because Waju was also women. We have changed that to Dopsu. So it means men, you are a critical part of us. Let us know what is happening and let us be there to salvage the situation before it gets out of hand. Because men normally do not beat women. If a woman physically abused a man and the next morning the man is dead, no one will have an idea that maybe she did something to the man. So please, men, don't hide in there. And please, officers in charge, when a man should forgo all that he has to report that he's been physically abused, please treat it with a lot of professionalism. And Dopsu said that they are trying to get a one-stop structure where when you get there, there will be a counselor. When you get there, you have confidentiality.
Is there an anonymous system? Can people just call and just report?
Yes,
nobody sees me.
Yes, there is. There is. You have the helpline.
Is there a number?
Yes, we have the helpline of hope, which is a toll-free line.
Okay.
And it is 0800
0800
800 800
800 800
or
okay.
0800 900 900
900 900. And that's how we wrap up this conversation. But final message, she said, I wanted to know what are some of the punishment for a woman who likes insulting her husband, so that it will bring any disgrace. It won't bring any disgrace to the woman, so I can report my wife for secret advice. You don't add your number, but that's the number for the gender ministry. You can call them and report your wife if she's beating you. 080 0800 800 800 or 0800 900 900. My special guests for today have been Gifty Chum Ampofo, Deputy Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. Ma'am, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate your time. And she's also Member of Parliament for Ebuakwa North Constituency. A strong woman as that. She doesn't beat men, by the way. But also here in the studio.
How do you know?
I know.
No, you see, I am usually referred to as Memenuaba because I have a lot of brothers. And because of that, maybe I was pampered by them. I cherish men and I always adore them.
Certainly.
So for me, even though I was a boy girl, but never beat me. No, because I was not beaten.
In the studio has also been our usual counselor, Daniel Annan, helping us. Are you a wife beater or are you a husband beater? Stop. It's shameful.